Meanwhile, good news from the Supreme Court. They voted 7-2 to uphold a federal law that gives preference to Native families in the adoption of Native American children. Largely a win for tribal sovereignty. What it also does is acknowledge in some way the immense harm that we inflicted upon Native families and their family structure.
Is a part of genocide. Like
yes.
It's in the genocide commissions and definitions. You will see things like removing children from their families and rehousing them with, for instance, white parents. Has happened to the Lakota and Dakota in Minnesota.
Didn't it happen in Chile under Pinochet too? Like,
I think it's basically like a common thing, especially in like settler colonial contexts. But like there's a famous historian who writes about the Dakota stuff, and there's a troubling passage where he's like, "Oh yeah, I used to help my grandma go pick up Native babies and help them find new homes in Christian communities." And it's like that is something you should maybe look a little bit more critically at in your own personal history, sir.
Right, exactly. And in like the Times write-up of this decision, it was about the law that was at issue was meant to at least rectify that in some marginal way, because around a third of Native children were removed from their parents, to Matt's point, and put into foster care, put up for adoption, and then they were placed in non-Native homes. It was a part of our genocide against the indigenous population in this country. So, I mean, even this extremist right-wing Supreme Court can at least acknowledge that, thankfully, and it was a 7-2 decision. And of course, Alito and Thomas are the dissenters, the freaks that they are.
It's weird how Gorsuch is, I mean, we should find something on Gorsuch's Native policy, because he's actually much better than you would expect from a Republican, or even any Supreme Court justice.
It turns out, though, that sometimes on some of these more niche issues, when they're removed from like the incentives set by the Federalist Society, they can have their own opinions because there's no leverage. It's a lifetime appointment.
Hey, folks, one of the biggest challenges of doing this show and of just following the news is being an educated media consumer. And I have found the perfect site, Ground News. What it does is it breaks down how a story is being covered. Left, center, right. Try it for yourself. Subscribe using my link to get 30% off the Vantage plan for unlimited access. It's a fascinating site. They give you bias ratings. They give you ownership ratings. They give you factuality ratings. They give you a map feature so you can look and see how different stories are being reported in different places in the world. You can filter for specific locations or topics. I like to read stuff about Social Security and the Supreme Court. You can follow what you're interested in. They also have blind spots, things that you may have missed. Go to ground.news/majority to stay fully informed on breaking news, compare coverage, and avoid media bias. Become an educated media consumer. Take advantage of the 30% off while it lasts. Ground.news/majority.